Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where last episode we plunged an asteroid into the ocean to get rid of it, and I didn't even realize that there are ocean depth records in KSP, but here we are. Cool. So that's something. Fantastic. Yeah, I had no idea that was a thing. But we do need to get ourselves another asteroid to mine at this point. Now, I would like to hop over to... Yeah, this asteroid is on a suborbital trajectory. We could just untrack it. It should have crashed by now, but it wasn't actually simulated. So there's nothing on that. We were just trying to burn it up in the atmosphere. So let's do that. We're going to do the mining ring station at this point. And what are we going to do at the mining ring station? Well, we need to process the ore that's there and fill up our asteroid tug. Now, I suspect that the tug that we have here is probably not powerful enough for a particularly large asteroid. That's quite a bend that we've got going on here. But it doesn't seem to be changing. Okay, so we can see that our ore is currently at 500. And how's our tank doing here? Cool. So let's fill up this tank. I think we're almost going to get that full. Almost. Actually, I think we're going to fill it. Cool. So this tug is now completely full. I don't expect it to be powerful enough or have enough fuel to fully capture a huge asteroid here. So we've got like these size E's. I would love a size F. I've only ever seen one. We're probably going to target a size E and see how that goes. I don't expect it to go amazingly well. So we're right now going to detach this guy. We're fully refueled. So we're going to detach, and the question is, are we currently on the station or the craft that we detached? I think we're on the station. Yeah, now we're on the asteroid ferry. We're going to disarm the advanced grabbing unit, and we're going to need to deploy the antenna, for sure. Actually, I'm going to rearm the grabbing unit. We're going to push in a tiny bit and grab on again. And the reason why we're going to do that, and we're just going to refuel this, the reason why we're going to do that is because I want to move this antenna. So, we are going to retract that, and then Bill is going to EVA. He will let go, and he is going to EVA his way up over this way. I just want to move where that antenna is. Just so that it's not, you know, impacting the asteroid. That would be nice. So we're just going to grab that and move it to be like down here. That'll do. And that's all we need. Fantastic. So we got that servicing mission done. And we're going to head back over this way. I don't want to take out that solar panel, that's for sure. We're going to put Bill back into the station. He is, of course, the operator of the station. And we'll put him back in here. There we go. Grab on. There you go. And we'll hop in. Okay. Now we'll redetach this. So we'll release the advanced grabbing unit. And we will disarm that. SAS on. This is not a lot of momentum. We're moving forward. We're moving towards the thing. I would much rather that we weren't. I'm going to rotate something like this in hopes of not destroying our solar panel as we leave here. And we are then going to try to get out of here. Get a little bit of distance. I don't really care what direction. I just want to get some momentum away from this thing. I guess we can go like prograde. That's fine. We should definitely extend our antenna. There we go. And just a little bit of speed. We don't need much because we don't exactly know where we're going just yet, but I want to just leave the station. This bend is hopefully going to fix itself. Hopefully. So off we go. We're going to need to find ourselves a classy asteroid, pretty swiftly here. We could view one of these in tracking station. That's definitely something that we want. We just wanted to let that thing drift away for a little bit and unload the station, ideally. So, like, this Class E asteroid here might be a decent one to track. I think that's somewhat reasonable. Okay, so we're going to hop back to the asteroid ferry then, and we're going to time warp at this point until we unload the station. I just don't want to have to worry about the station being physics loaded in the background. So where is the station at? There it is. And it's about 200 meters away right now. We're just going to warp on out of here until that unloads. At 50x speed, this is fine. It should unload at, I think, 3 kilometers. Okay, 2.5. It unloaded there. Cool. So at this point, we need to set this asteroid as our target. And we need to get out of the Kerbal system. So if we were to burn around here, slingshot around the moon as we have been, that is not a moon slingshot in the slightest. That's a moon slingshot. Okay. Something kind of like this. What's that, periapsis? Yep, that's okay. That flings us out here. Okay. And then from there, we can try to set up an intercept on this thing. It's maybe going to be a little awkward, but we'll see. So we'll align for that. That burn is going to be in about 33 minutes. Cool. We'll go ahead and warp to that. Now that we're in position. And there goes the station. That's absolutely fine. We don't care about our current position relative to the station. We want to get out of this system entirely. I do expect that this tug will be insufficient, to be clear. But I want to scout the asteroid and see how much we're going to need, because I don't actually know that. So we're going to warp forward a little bit further here and go to 3, 2, 1, and 0. And off we go. We're basically fully fueled. We definitely have enough to get to the asteroid. That's for sure. No doubt about that one. As far as pushing the asteroid goes, yeah, that's probably not going to be so good. Probably not so good. Well, we can at this point safely physics warp this burn, and we will definitely do so. 50 seconds left on the burn. 40. 30. 20. 10 seconds left. Okay, let's pull that out of physics warp. That's probably good enough. Yes? Yes, that's good enough. Okay, fantastic. So we are off. We are on an escape trajectory at this point. We'll go ahead and warp up over here. And I mean, our orbit is not substantially different from this asteroid, so I have no idea how well this is actually going to go to transfer to it. It might be a very long warp or a lot of delta V. One or the other. We did not time it, we did not calculate it. We're just going for it. Let's see how it goes. Probably poorly is the answer. We should expect that it's going to be fairly poor. Okay. And at this point, we now need our escape velocity. So that would be around here in 7 days. Cool. So we will escape very shortly here. Goodbye, Kerbal. Off we go. Thanks for the gravity assist, Moon. It was much appreciated. Saved us like 300 delta V. Actually, probably not 300. Like 100 or 200 delta V. Okay, at this point we can see our ascending node is all the way up here. Hypothetically, that would be a really awkward transfer. I'm not surprised by that. Hypothetically, if we were to... Whoa, that goes all over the place. Exciting. Absolutely exciting. I think it's very clear at this point that we need to... That's our periapsis, and this is the asteroid's periapsis. Okay, that's fairly doable. So at this apoapsis over here, hypothetically, we would pull our periapsis in. Okay, that pushes it out further, but we can... No, I don't want to move normal. We can do our timing. This doesn't look like this is going to be too bad. So the idea here is then, I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to go to the ascending node here, and we are going to put in a maneuver there to burn, looks like, anti-normal. That's very sensitive. Actually, I think it's normal that we want to burn here. Whoa, that's wild. But yeah, it is normal. Okay, this keeps changing. There must be an encounter with Kerbal down here that's causing that. Yeah, that seems to be the case. Okay, we're just going to go up over here and burn normal for the time being. So we'll position for that, and we're going to do this without a maneuver for the time being. Let's see how this goes. I want to match inclination as close as we can. So we're about 90 days away from this burn now. And then at this periapsis, we probably want to not do much, I think. That's a class H there. So yeah, it's mostly going to be these comets that are the really big ones. It's not going to be asteroids. Got it. Okay, keeping an eye on this. Boy, that jumps all over. Okay, it needs to be anti-normal, I'm pretty sure. That's just wild. Okay. That is absolutely wild. I'm going to go prograde a bit here and push out our apoapsis so that we don't have this Kerbal encounter. Okay. That's looking a lot cleaner. There. Now we should be able to burn anti-normal and match planes. In theory. Much better. Much, much better. This intersect is interesting. I wonder if we can get that. Okay, so minus 0.2, minus 0.1, and there we go. So we've matched planes now. I doubt that we can get this intersect, if I had to be honest. We can try to mess around with this. No, I don't think this is the best intercept that we're going to get. At the periapsis here, well, really, at the apoapsis. That's our current apoapsis. This is the apoapsis and periapsis of our target. This intersect might be a better one to target. So if we were to do so, out over here, we could potentially do that. Let's see, what direction would we need to go? We need to go a bit retrograde here. And how good could we get that? We're going to start to lose efficiency here. But burn it earlier. Like this. That basically gets us a Kerbal encounter. But if we did it before this Kerbal encounter, right about here, that's not so bad. About 7,000 kilometers out. Let's see if we can tune that with radial. No. There must be a way to tune it. With normal. Okay. So that gets us down to around 2,500. Oh, way overshot that. That gets us around to 2,500. Our relative speed is very high. Okay. We can tune it down maybe a bit more with normal here. Yes. 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 What was that turnaround point? Around... Oh, boy. Okay. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. This is going very, very sensitively. Let's see about tuning that down a little bit with prograde. Yup. 3.7 kilometers. That's not bad. And there's a Kerbal encounter right around here that we might be able to deal with. I like it. Yeah, that's a big relative speed differential, but if we can use this to capture that asteroid, that's a huge deal. So we're going to go ahead and warp to this, and we're going to need to burn this as accurately as we can. Okay. So we're going to burn this in about 15 days here. Okay, about a minute. 40 seconds. 20 seconds. Okay, we're going to burn this again as accurately as possible. Big changes from small mistakes here. Okay. So let's see how this goes. It is a big relative speed differential. There's no doubt about that. 863.1 meters per second. But even so, I think this will be decent. We're going to be very close to a Kerbal encounter as well. 50 meters per second here. 20. 10. Okay. How's that? 4.8 kilometers. That was way too much. We're going to flip around to retrograde, and we're going to thrust limit this down to 1%. I want to actually be prograde, not retrograde. And this is going to be just a teeny tiny little burn. Okay. Just fine-tuning that down. 100 kilometers out. 50. We're going to go down to half a percent of thrust. Okay, 1.4 kilometers. We'll call that good. So, at this point, at this intersect, we need 863.1 meters per second in retrograde. So, 863.1. There we go. Obviously, this is not the actual direction that we're going to be going. We're going to be going in target retrograde, but that's fine. We will warp over to this. Burn time of 4 hours at this thrust. Yeah, but we're going to crank that back up a minute 21. That's more like it. Let's go ahead and warp towards this. And at this point, this is the location of the asteroid. So that's fantastic. This is going to be incredibly close to a Kerbal encounter. And we will trust the timing here. It'll get us close enough. I don't know where the asteroid is at this moment, but it should be incredibly close. We're basically pointing directly away from it, so the asteroid should be over this way. Cool. We're going to start our burn in about 50 seconds. 30 seconds. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. And 3, 2, 1, burn. We don't care about the direction, only the timing. Cool. I don't know exactly where this asteroid is right now. It is, I can't actually see it here. But it's around here somewhere. Allegedly. We're pointing directly away from it, in theory. But we are still moving at 500 meters per second, so it might still be a ways out there. Where exactly is it? Yeah, we can only see ourselves here. That's awkward. We can also see that we're going to have to burn quite a bit towards Kerbal here to get that encounter, but that should be fine. We shouldn't need much Delta V to get a Kerbal encounter, and in theory, we should be able to capture it fairly easily then as well. 250 meters per second. I still don't know where the asteroid actually is. We'll arm our advanced grabbing unit. We're 150 meters per second out. 90. 60. 30. Okay, 1.2 meters per second. We're just going to burn that down to 0.0, and I have no idea where this thing is. We'll point at target. It's apparently over here. Okay. That's exciting. Distance of like 750 kilometers. Okay, that's not ideal. We'll start heading in at somewhere around like 100 meters per second. Okay, that'll do. We'll flip around to retrograde, because I want this to be a very, very swift encounter here. That's now a separation of 1.8 kilometers. Okay. So, we'll arrive there soon enough, and we can add a maneuver here of 99.3. And we're going to still be target retrograde, but we'll warp over to this. I was hoping that we'd get a little closer than 750 kilometers, but fair enough. There it is. Well, hello there. So that'll be in about a minute. I'm not sure I trust that. I'm going to start that burn sooner. Specifically, now. Cool. 0.2 meters per second. I'm going to finish that off. Okay, we will get that done. And point at target. I want to target center of mass if we can. Unfortunately, we currently can't, but we'll just head on in. At about... Honestly, 1 meter per second is probably good enough, but I want to head in at like 5 for right now. We're probably going to want to retarget the center of mass, so that'll be okay. Separation of 0.0 kilometers. Yep, that's fine. Let's head on in. 1.6 kilometers. 1 kilometer out. Fantastic. 500 meters out. Okay. At this point, I want to target the center of mass, which it looks like it already was. We will go ahead and kill our relative velocity here. Okay. And we'll point at target. And let's head on in. At about 2 meters per second. Cool. We'll warp it. And we'll grab onto this guy. Okay. We'll continue to point at target. Point at that center of mass. Can definitely see that this asteroid is way bigger. There's no doubt about that. Sufficiently bigger that we're potentially going to have some power generation issues. Okay. We've grabbed it. And the question becomes, now what? Let's go ahead and extend out our solar panels. Not like that's going to help too much. The question now becomes, can we get this thing into Kerbal orbit? Hypothetically, would we get an encounter if we were to burn like a little retrograde? Yes. Boy, we've got 15 meters per second here. Okay. 15 meters per second. This thing is huge. I'm not shocked about that. As I said, it's probably going to be too big for us to be able to move with this tug. I'm not surprised. So the question is, what are we going to need to bring up in order to move it? That is a good question. I would love to see this thing get a Kerbal encounter and be able to get it in orbit with the 15 meters per second. I don't know that that's going to be a viable thing. In fact, I'm pretty sure it isn't. Like, 15 meters per second is almost none. But we now have a communications device on here. That is something. It is something. It's likely that if we had 0 meters per second here, or if we had like 15 meters per second retrograde, right? And then we delayed this, it's likely we would at some point get an encounter. The question is when. If we had like 300 meters per second here, we could get an encounter. And how much would it cost to actually... we don't want this to be in like 20 years. We would want this to be like now-ish, and then we would want to get an encounter. And then how much would it cost to break it and get it into Kerbal orbit? So that's a Kerbal encounter there. And then we go into Kerbal here. And we don't really see anything. Okay. I think that our problem there was a normal issue. Yeah, it's way out over here. So at that point, how much would it cost to bring this in? It'll be a lot. So the answer to that is another 300 meters per second. Okay. So with this weight, we know that, and this engine efficiency, we know that we need roughly 700 meters per second to bring this thing in, which is going to be a lot. That's going to be a whole lot. This thing's huge. No doubt about it. Like, if we look at it, it's almost 3,000 tons. That's a lot. I'm not shocked about this. But here we are. It is time to put a cut in here, and next episode, we will design a craft that can hopefully bring this guy in. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, Sigma162, JJ Gamer, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.